everyone, this is Megan.
And this is Steven.
And this is the Synchrony Podcast, where we talk about transforming apostolic dating culture and ending loneliness in the church.
That's right.
I haven't seen much of you today.
Yeah, I've been gone.
Yeah, you and I both kind of scattered to, actually all of us kind of scattered. So you were hanging out with friends, a little day trip.
Yeah.
I also...
Friend.
friend. I also hung out with my friend.
Yeah.
We found a bookstore that I'm very excited about.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Chamblin Book Mine in Jacksonville. That was delightful. It was like, imagine like a cave that goes on for miles, but it's made of books. Like that's what it felt like. And I got lost multiple times in this bookstore. Like it's very twisty. It's a used bookstore, very twisty. And like, there's like little passages tucked into all these places, and they've just like built shelves everywhere. Like there's just bookshelves all over the place, and you kind of have to wind your way through them. I got lost multiple times and was happy about it.
Sounds like a magical wonderland for you.
It was wonderful. It was beautiful.
I bet your mom would love that place.
Yeah, I got to take her. It was pretty cool. And the kids were with my parents.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't actually like see you until like a couple hours ago.
I know. I'm tired though.
Yes. It's going to be, we'll try not to belabor this too much, and get into the thick of it and see where we can get.
Sounds good. What are we talking about today?
So this is a topic that actually came from someone on the Discord.
Yeah.
Shout out to the guys on the Discord. That's been really
right.
cool. Not that I hang out on the Discord, but I'm glad you guys are having a great time. Are you having a great time with the Discord?
I'm having an awesome time.
Good.
More and more people are joining, and it's been really cool to see people come together and have cool conversations.
Yeah, it's neat. And one of the conversations that you told me about was from someone who was asking about for advice about like re-entering dating.
Yep.
So we work with a lot of people in different walks of life, right?
Yeah.
And I'd say at this point, probably 30 to 40% of our clients have been married before.
Okay.
Ish. It's a rough estimate.
It's a very rough estimate.
Right. Ish. I'd have to go back and rerun all the numbers to see, but and those folks they've either been through a divorce or they've been through a loss, a death of a spouse.
Yeah.
So lots of different experiences with how long they might have been married previously.
Yeah.
We work with people who the last time they dated was in the 1970s.
Yeah, for
right?
real.
And they're re-entering dating again in a completely different chapter of their lives. And we meet people who the last time they dated was in 2005, and that was still a completely different chapter of dating.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, which is funny because like you hear people say like, oh, back in my day, but it's one of those things is like, even us, when we were dating and we were, dating a little over 10 years ago, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Like the landscape has changed drastically even now.
Completely.
So I can't imagine being in my 60s or 70s and either through death or divorce, having to re-enter the dating space and having to figure out how to talk to people in a curious way, when most of the time, from my perspective, like I was old fashioned. Like I was like, I want to talk to your dad in order to ask for your hand in marriage. I want to talk about the things that are big and important right away. I guess that's not old fashioned. That's just smart. But it's one of those things is like, how do you apply, or do you apply old-fashioned standards to a technological dating space? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, and when we say old-fashioned, like you could have dated 10 years ago or 15 years ago or 8 years ago and be used to a completely different kind of dating. Because remember, like, what's normal about dating interactions is cultural, right?
Yeah.
And what we think about as being normal now for how a dating interaction goes is wildly dependent on our context and what we've learned and what we've been socialized to think is normal. So I want to talk about sort of the different challenges that can come with adjusting to the new landscape of dating.
Yeah.
But I pulled together some really interesting dates for you.
Okay.
Okay. Let's do a little guessing game. Okay. So I'm going to tell you when something was launched, and you have to guess the year in which it was launched. Okay.
Okay.
When do you think AOL Instant Messenger launched?
Late 90s.
1997.
Yeah.
eHarmony,
Early 2000s.
2000 on the dot.
Okay.
Yeah, which surprised me. eHarmony might not have been like the biggest. I don't know if it was
That's
the
one
first
of the older
dating
ones
app.
I remember.
It's one of the older ones. I don't know if it was the first. I didn't actually look up to see what was the first one. But eHarmony launched in 2000. Christian Mingle.
I vaguely remember that in high school. So like late 2000.
Actually,
late 2000s.
They were right on the heels of eHarmony. They launched in 2001.
Really?
Yeah, Christian Mingle got in there fast and has lasted, which is kind of impressive. When do you think Facebook launches? Facebook does not exist for the launch of eHarmony or Christian Mingle, which is wild to think about.
So Facebook was after MySpace.
Oh yeah, I didn't even write down MySpace.
MySpace happened. I'm trying to think. I think it had been out for a little while before I finally transitioned from MySpace. So let me guess, like 2005?
You were close, 2004.
Okay. Because I stuck with MySpace for so long because I really like the fact that you could have music on your profile.
Ugh, the worst.
And you could like customize the background, and I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, Everyone's Connected was that for me. I never had a
Yeah.
MySpace, but apparently like Everyone's Connected is like now owned by Apostolic People, which is wild.
Is it really?
Did you hear about that? An Apostolic group company has bought the domain of Everyone's Connected and is trying to turn it into like an apostolic social media
No
platform.
way.
Yeah.
They're doing it right now?
Yeah, right
'Cause
now.
I thought
currently.
that's what it was back then.
It wasn't an apostolic one. We just colonized it.
Oh,
Like
that's fair.
it was not a uniquely apostolic platform, but for some reason the church like got into it and
Yeah.
like that was our spot. So someone from the church
I
bought.
still remember the logo of like all the hands holding together around the globe.
Yeah, was that what it was? That was
think
funny.
so.
It's apparently doing well, and it's like a cool thing. I haven't checked it out, so if you're on Everyone's Connected, let us know.
Well, it's a matter of perspective.
It might be the next big thing. We don't know. Facebook is trash, so like let's find somewhere else to go.
That's fair. No slight against Everyone's Connected. I'm just skeptical until I see it.
Yeah. When do you think the iPhone launched?
Oh, I think that had to be mid 2000s.
2007.
Yeah.
Facebook Messenger.
Late 2000s, like 2008.
Close. 2011.
Oh, really? That late?
Instagram.
Instagram. 2009.
2010. You're very good at this.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I'm just going back through my like high school years. I'm like, when did that thing start
Yeah.
making a resurgence?
When do you think that unlimited texting plans became popular on cell phones?
I mean, it might have happened, but way after my mom signed up for it. My mom, like we were always behind the curve when it came to like technology.
Same.
I'm gonna guess 2012.
2013.
Man,
you are so good at this. And when do you think Tinder launched?
I'm gonna guess this one mainly because I think I overheard you thinking out loud. Was it 2012?
It was 2012.
Okay.
So these stats, this is just like a random number of dates, but let's just imagine that the last time you dated was in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
Which is the reality for, like if, God forbid, if something happened to one of my parents, right? And
Sorry. I'm sorry. I just realized I laughed at the wrong.
Mom and Dad, I apologize.
No. What went through my head
This is going to make for a fun Christmas season.
Well, this is going to get even better.
Oh, boy.
One of the things that I was like, oh, she didn't mention Grindr.
Steven.
I'm sorry. Not really.
No, I didn't mention Grindr. God have mercy.
If you don't know, don't Google it.
Don't. Gosh, we're going to get in trouble. Okay, so what I was saying. So, like, God forbid, if something happened to one of my parents and my single parent decided to start dating, right? The last time they would have dated would have been the mid 80s.
Yeah.
Right? prior to the advent of AOL Instant Messenger,
Yeah.
prior to the advent of personal email, right? So the last time they
Personal
dated,
computers.
right? The last time they dated, the communication options available to them were in-person, face-to-face communication, shared phones in the house with the curly cord attached to the wall.
Yep, they were
Right.
great.
Yeah. Or writing physical letters. Like those were their options for communication.
Yeah.
And to my knowledge, I don't know that either of them ever maintained a long distance relationship, right? Because it would have been almost impossible to.
Yeah.
My mom lived in New York for a semester and might have tried. I don't know. I'll have to ask her. But like, I don't think that it would have worked out really well.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
So their dating options were in person, face to face,
Yep.
really. And my parents met through mutual friends. That is probably how most people who dated in the 80s and early 90s met each other,
Yeah.
right? AOL Instant Messenger, the idea of like chat rooms, that definitely opened up some opportunities, right? Like there's the whole, if any of you know the classic movie You've Got Mail, which used to be very cutting edge and is now so vintage it's terrifying.
Yeah.
like the dial.
You got mail.
You've got mail. Wee, like the dial tone at the beginning. And like they have a conversation over AOL Instant. I used to think AOL Instant Messenger was like magical.
Oh yeah, my sister used to sit in chat rooms for like hours and just have conversations with people.
I hung out at my cousin's house one time. Like I don't have that many cousins that are close to my age, but I have like a second cousin who lives not far from me. And we hung out one time and she's like a couple of years younger than I was. And I was probably like a sixth grader. I don't know. And she was younger than that. And she was in AOL Instant Messenger, like chatting with people.
Yeah.
And it's wild to me to think about that now, because right now all of my parent
sure.
red flags are like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
but at the time it was just like this cool magical thing that was happening, and her parents had no idea what it was that she was doing or who she
Yeah.
was talking to.
That was also a time when seeing someone online, like the online bubble that was green, meant something.
Yeah.
Because like that meant, oh, they're sitting at their computer, like waiting to have a conversation.
They're sitting at their desktop computer in the living room.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And whereas now is like someone's online, it's their phone app is probably on in the background.
Yeah.
Like it's not actually really like
Right.
their attention is not there.
And that was really before anyone had the concept of, and you could definitely mask your identity online.
sure.
But the idea of scamming your identity completely or interacting disingenuously online was still kind of new.
Yeah.
Right. So if you dated before the late 90s, the dating space is entirely different. Most dating interactions start over text-based communications now, whether
Yeah.
that's through Facebook Messenger or Instagram DMs,
Yeah.
or someone,
Or even if you meet someone in person,
right.
the main form of communication is going to be through text message.
Yeah. Can I get your number is
Yeah.
no longer about, can I call you and ask you out on a date?
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, hey, can we have a conversation over text message?
I saw there's this like viral YouTube channel that's like Meet Cutes NYC or whatever. And it's this guy who wanders around New York City and bumps into couples and asks them about their origin story.
Yeah.
And they're intermittently kind of cute and kind of silly. But I saw one the other day that popped up on a reel, and this couple, he was interviewing this couple, and they met, I want to say in like 2000 or 2001. And they met because he called the wrong number and she picked up. And he had a conversation with her.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? First of all, phone calls. Why? I almost never send an outbound phone call to anyone who is not in my immediate family.
Yes, and it bothers me.
I hate talking on the phone.
I know, it bothers me.
Right.
Because literally I'm like, hey, can you call this person for business? And you're like, in a cold sweat.
I immediately get sweaty and just
I'm like, literally you do this for a living.
It's trauma. It's trauma because my mom used to make me call. She used to make me, when I was a Girl Scout. We're going to unpack this here. When I was a Girl Scout, comment below if you were in Girl Scouts and had to do embarrassing things to sell cookies. If you know, you know. So when I was a Girl Scout, I had to sell, my mom was the cookie mom, which meant that it was her job.
Sure.
Her job to get all the cookies and divide them out for all of the scouts in our troop. And we all had to sell, like a quota of cookies, right? And it was my job every year. My mom sat me down in our study at the shared phone with a paper directory of all of our family members in all states and their numbers. And I had to call them and ask if they wanted to buy Girl Scout cookies. These people that I had not spoken to since our last family reunion, where I gave them an awkward side hug.
Yeah.
And answered questions about my grades. And
Yeah.
that was my only interactions with them. I had to call them and ask them for money. I wanted to dig a hole in the floor and bury myself in it and die. Like,
Whereas me, I'd be like, hey, how you doing?
oh, it was like having my skin peeled off. Yeah, it was terrible. And like, no one hates Girl Scout cookies.
No.
But asking people for money over the phone makes me want to throw up.
You could have been selling them Arbonne or something.
Yeah, I could have been selling them. Who knows? Yeah. Anyway, so, okay, so.
No offense to anyone that makes Arbonne.
Yeah.
Or Mary Kay.
Right. Or Girl Scout cookies, whatever, which are now insanely expensive, by the way.
Yeah.
Holy Lord.
Inflation.
Yeah. So if you were dating before the advent of messaging and texting as like the main form of communication.
Yeah.
The landscape is totally different now. Most communication, most early dating connections these days, unless you start talking through Synchrony, are going to be built first in writing.
Yep.
Right? Which means that what used to be important to first impressions is now not as important. So it's not as important that you smell a certain way when you first meet someone or interact with them, or that you wear your hair a certain way when you're interacting with them for the first time, because they're not going to see any of that.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not about you buying the specific type of cologne or, like girls doing your hair in a specific way for the first time you're interacting with them. That's like 3 weeks in when you've been messaging for forever and you're meeting up for the first time.
Yeah.
Right.
3 weeks, man. That's really,
that's fast, right?
That's fast for most standards.
It's into your 2-year situationship when you finally meet in person. So most of their first impressions of you are going to be made via your writing, right?
Yeah.
And not your writing in terms of like how good your grammar is. It's going to be your writing.
God.
Yeah. It's going to be your writing in terms of how closely it maps to their expectations for what text-based interactions are.
Yeah.
So our immediate family members are like in several different generations, right?
Yeah.
So like I was actually looking up the numbers on this because I was very confused. So your mother is technically a baby boomer.
Really?
Yeah, because baby boomers right now are between the ages of 61 and 79, apparently.
Oh.
So my grandparents, I guess, are technically super like very old baby boomers or very, very, very young silent generationers. Which is interesting. Which makes sense because they were technically born the year that World War II ended. So that makes sense. My oldest grandparents. Anyway, but your mother is technically a baby boomer.
Yeah.
Okay. My parents are Gen Xers and you and I are millennials.
Yep.
3 completely different methods of text messaging.
Oh, 100%.
My mother...
What's your brother?
He's a Gen Zer.
Gen Zer.
Yeah. So 4 completely different methods of text messaging, right?
Yeah.
So like.
What's funny is throughout all the generations, there are 3 generations of family members who also do not like being on the phone.
Yes, it's true. Yeah. Not enjoying phone calls is standard for us.
Yeah.
And it's cool because like my grandparents text very well and frequently.
Yeah.
Right. But how they use texting and versus calling is very different, right?
Yeah.
So my grandfather will text me, please call me.
Yeah.
And he does that assuming that I'm not going to think someone died, which is the wrong thing to assume. Because if you text me, please call me, period, I assume there has been a death. Like,
wait, maybe that's the way I can get you to call me faster.
Please don't do that. Please call me, period, means I must break you the news of the death of a family member, right?
Okay, real quick soapbox. I'm sorry. There have been times I have said I've gotten so frustrated with Megan because I've needed her to answer her phone based on like needing a measurement for something because I'm at the store or like I need a certain type of thing that's really important. I'm at the store for that reason. And she does not answer because her phone is always on silent, which is another problem in our marriage.
I don't like to hear
No,
it ring.
no, wait. And so literally one day, peak frustration, I was on my way home and she called me and goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry, babe. We actually needed this," which was the wrong thing of what I got. And I said, "Megan, if I were to crash in a ditch and I was trying to call you to say my goodbyes, I would want to hear your voice." And she answered and goes, "You know what? If you left a voicemail, I would have it forever."
And that was the wrong thing to say.
And she goes, "First of all, you should call 911 first. Second of all, if you have a voicemail, it'll last forever." I'm like,
And that was wrong of me to say. I do not like to pick up the phone. Please do not call me. Shoot me a text instead. My point here is, if you were to text me, "Hey, I need you to send me the measurements for that thing," I would.
"No, you still won't call me."
Okay. Anyway, so my point is that like my grandparents use texting as a means to a call, right? They're like, "I'm going to text in order to get some, like, if I need to have a long conversation with you, I'll either send a text message just to say like, I love you or happy birthday," right? And it'll be happy birthday with no punctuation and no exclamation points, just happy birthday, right? Maybe a heart. Actually, Papa signs everything.
The American flag.
Gator American flag.
Yeah.
He's like, "I love you, Gator American flag." It's like, "I love you too, Papa."
Loyalty.
Yeah. But like that's it. They're using it to either send a message that is short enough that it doesn't require more communication, or in order to facilitate a phone call.
Yeah.
Because their aim is the phone call, right? My parents text, like they'll send longer texts and share more thoughts via text, but they use punctuation in a way that befuddles me. like my mom will be like, she'll respond to a message and say like K period, like the letter K period. The most passive aggressive thing you can possibly type. Like as a millennial, I read that and go, "You hate me."
Yeah.
Like, it's just terrible.
Yeah. Then there's the talk to texters that don't edit their message.
Oh my Lord.
And my mom falls in that category. She'll talk through her phone, or sorry, through her car. And I have, there's 3 different topics and I don't know where it starts and where it stops.
Yeah. It's bad. So, and then like, we're just talking about the writing part.
Yeah.
We're not talking about what's appropriate to send in a GIF.
Yeah.
We're not talking about inside jokes in terms of memes. We're not talking about the use or not use of abbreviations.
Or sarcasm.
I didn't realize that all the things that I say as a millennial are dumb now. Like LOL. And like, do you know, like millennials use LOL to punctuate everything? You know that the kids don't do that? The children?
No, I figured that was the case.
Yeah, I am ancient of days.
Yes.
I am old and stricken in years.
Yeah.
like I feel it in my bones.
It's okay. I mean, I've always been outdated. I still say dagnabbit. So
You do. You say weird grandpa stuff all the time. So like my point here is that like the types of communication that are going to be the primary way that they build rapport with you
yeah.
are going to be methods of communication that you might have never used for dating.
Yep.
Right? If you were married for a long time and you had a spouse that you communicated with over text messages or whatever, that's all well and good, but it might not have been the kind of communication you'll need to use while you're getting to know someone for the first time. So one, you're adjusting to a text-based form of interaction instead of anything else. It is likely that before they hear your voice ever, the sound of your voice, before they ever hear the sound of your voice, they will develop a fake voice for you in their head based on the tone of your text messages. Right? Crazy.
That is kind of crazy.
Yeah. So it's important to be thinking about how they're going to perceive your communication. Okay, so we've established that initial dating communication is going to be text driven now versus vocally driven in person.
Yep.
Right? For the most part. The second thing is like who makes the first move is now way more complicated.
Yep.
Because what counts as a first move is different.
Yeah.
Right?
The bar has moved throughout the years.
Yeah. So like if the first move used to be walking up to someone in person and saying hi, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, in a face-to-face interaction or introducing yourself. Like I met someone who is a client who unfortunately lost his spouse of, you know, many, many years, right?
Yeah.
And his first move was seeing her running through the rain and stopping his car and offering her a ride, right?
Yeah, which nowadays you can't do.
Cannot do.
Yep.
Immediate stranger danger. Like,
Yeah.
wee wee, like, no. But that was how they met. And that, you know, their first interactions was riding in the same car together, right?
Yeah.
Very different than how it is now. So what counts as a first move? The answer to that question is going to vary a lot depending on who you're talking to, right?
Yeah, and the context in which you meet.
Right. Does liking someone's Instagram picture count as a first move?
To me, that doesn't count.
I don't think it counts, but to someone it might, right? Who's interested in someone and sees that they liked something, right?
If that's the case, then my aunts and uncles are trying to make moves on me.
No, I'm not saying that likes are automatically dating interactions,
No,
right?
I know.
But like if you're a young woman and a guy that you don't know who's your same age, you know, suddenly starts liking a couple of your photos, that indicates interest, right? Or at least passing interest. It piques your curiosity.
It does pique curiosity. I mean, to me, like, I have so many friends.
Mm-hmm.
This is not like a flex. It's just like I have so many friends that I have developed throughout the years on Facebook that when I do a post, like, I will go through occasionally, like once a year. To be fair, I don't post a lot, but and look at the likes and see who is the ones who actually liked it. And there are people that I don't remember who they are that are liking my stuff.
Sure.
And so it's like, to me, it's like, I don't see that as a sign of connection. I see that as a sign of recognition.
I kind of agree with you, but my point is that not everyone feels that way, right? Like,
Sure.
It's confusing. And some people would go like, oh, that's no big deal. And some people would be like, ooh, maybe they're interested,
Yeah.
right? Or if commenting on someone's post, right? Or sending someone a DM that just says, hey,
Yeah.
right? I don't,
Not a good start, by the way.
not a great start. Yeah. Like, again, this is your first impression. The text. But like,
Hi.
just like the guy in Hey Arnold.
Yeah. There are a group of people that are cringing in their cars right now.
I'll stop. So what counts as a first move is very nuanced and blurry, right?
Yeah.
And you can hope that if you're communicating with someone who's kind of the same generation or has the same level of engagement in those online spaces, that they might be kind of more open to it, but they might not be, right?
Yeah.
Like, you just don't know. Okay, so things are text-based. Who initiates and how they initiate are totally different. What else
Yeah.
is different about just like the dating landscape now, even like compared to when we were dating? Like, what things are normal now that were not normal when we were dating?
Like, quite literally dates.
Would you like say more?
Like it's not, because most people are meeting online first. I say most people, I mean like 50% of people. So
It's growing though. Like, that's
Yeah.
the thing. The percentage of married couples who met in online spaces just continues to like skyrocket.
yeah, the idea of you being able to go and say, I'm going to pick you up at 8:00 and drive over in your convertible or your mom's minivan and like, and go and pick up your date and take them out and go get dinner and go walk on the beach or something is not the usual go-to, right? It's
Right.
now. And so it's most likely going to be some sort of online hangout. It's going to be some sort of online, like FaceTime or
Yeah. COVID exacerbated
yeah.
this for sure.
yeah, exactly. And also because you're meeting online, you're most likely not in close proximity to each other, at least initially.
Right.
And there's a lot of like stranger danger because you're meeting someone online. You don't have context of who this person is because you're not meeting them out of a like relationship with a friend who knows this person, right? It's like you're
Yeah.
meeting them completely blind.
Right.
Or
It takes a lot longer to build trust in terms of,
Yeah.
again,
As it should.
as it should, because of how online culture has evolved, right? So
Yeah.
like we just talked about how it would never be okay right now for someone to just hop in this random guy's car.
Yeah.
It's romantic when we think about it happening in the 70s,
Yeah.
right?
For sure.
But now it's like nobody would willingly do that because we now know about the scamming that happens online. We now know about online predation.
Yep.
We know about,
People
right,
being fake.
people being fake, people pretending to be a different person, a different age, different gender than they actually are, in order to take advantage of people. We know about people who create, online personas, relationship personas to get money out of people. We now in this current world, we know that you can have a bot that
Yeah. Sure.
interacts with you. It's an AI that's trained to say some things back in response to your messages.
Yeah.
That's trained to respond like a person and ultimately get you to share bank information,
Yeah.
So it takes longer and there are more stages to build trust before you can have that in-person interaction
Yeah.
in these days, unless you have some way of verifying who this other person is or what they're about or whatever. So you feel like you have to do more like spelunking, especially in the church. Like you've got to spend more time communicating with this person to understand, do they actually go to church like they say they do?
Yep.
Are they actually involved? Do they pay their tithes? Like you have to spend more time kind of getting into their life before you can have some certainty that they are who they say they are.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I think that this like skepticism of like lack of trust is starting to wear down at the inherent benefit of the doubt for people.
And people
so
are coming to it skeptical.
Yeah, and understandably so. Like you need to be protective. You need to have concerns. But I what we've noticed is there's a lot of people that are inherently just in full belief that everyone's out to get them.
Yeah.
And that's affecting their ability to meet someone, because if I am a halfway decent person who likes to be relatively optimistic and I want to be with someone who is also relatively optimistic, and then my first interaction with you is grilling me because I'm like I might be a bot from India trying to get your bank information. Like
Right.
it's like I'm not going to want to call you back if
Right.
I'm getting grilled, if I'm not having a positive interaction, because first impressions, that's the one thing that hasn't changed, is first impressions are still really important.
First impressions matter.
And so it's like, I think that I think there should be a level of skepticism. I think there should be a level of critical thinking, but maybe not overly rude or negative, especially as a first response to someone.
Yeah, and I think it's challenging for the person who is making that initial pass, right?
Yeah.
Because especially if you happen to be the male in that interaction, well, really it can go both ways. I think that there are stereotypes about people who reach out to other people online, even though everyone is doing it, like everyone is connecting online these days. We've still got these stereotypes that have been perpetuated about what it means for someone to reach out online and
Sure.
be whatever. So like, I think men are often really worried about coming across as creepy
Yeah.
or overly assertive or asking for the wrong things, right? Or something they say or do being misinterpreted as solicitation,
Yep.
right? I think women are worried about coming across as being too forward or being kind of cheap or being
Yeah.
loose by reaching out to someone. By the way, neither of those stereotypes are true if you're interested in connecting with someone online necessarily. But yeah, so what we're saying is like it's taking longer to build trust online. You have to go through more mental gymnastics and steps to make sure that everyone is who they say they are. And it's really challenging to know implicitly what the other person is expecting.
Yep. Yeah, and that's hard because like there's no guidebook,
Right.
There's no guidebook for this, and especially for someone coming in from a different generation. And like you can't just your baby boomer parent or grandparent can't go to a Gen X or a Gen Zer and go, hey, help me learn how to communicate, because even their levels of understanding of communication are so different.
Right. And like I have to text my brother. I do this on a frequent basis.
Yeah.
I have to text my brother and be like, I heard this the other day. What does it mean? And should I say it? or not. And he has to,
yay or nay.
yeah, he has to tell me whether or not it's okay or where it comes from.
Yeah, and that's a one generation difference.
Yeah,
Like,
we're 15 years apart.
Yeah, and that's significant enough for us to feel a disconnect. And I know there's a lot of people that understand that, but I think one of the things that we want to talk about is making sure that you guys understand that you're not crazy for feeling like dating's hard.
It's really confusing.
It's hard for people that know how to communicate in today's like vernacular.
Yeah, even if you're like a native user, right?
Yeah.
The number of people I come who send me screenshots of text messages and go, "I don't know what this means. Do you know what this means?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "I don't know what it means." Like none of us have the crystal ball that's getting us into somebody's head, right?
Yeah.
For all we know, this entire message could be going awry because someone typoed something.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
And it's messed us up. I think this also is a really big deal if you're dating intergenerationally.
Yeah.
So it's not uncommon for people to be dating someone who's like 10 years younger or older than they are.
Yeah.
Right? Completely different sets of expectations.
Yeah.
We actually had a couple, they're now married, who had a pretty significant age gap
Yeah.
between them, at least a decade.
Yeah.
And I remember in the early stages of their relationship, the younger person reached out to me and was like, I really don't know if this person's interested in me.
Yeah.
Because I'm sending this kind of stuff and I'm doing this and I'm sending a good morning text and I'm not getting a response sometimes for hours and hours,
Yeah.
you know? And it seems like they're not prioritizing it. And this other person was just waiting for the time of day where it would be normal to have a call.
Yeah.
Like they wanted to use the text messages as an avenue to a call.
Yeah.
The other person was using the text messages as the primary form of communication.
Yeah.
So that person's lack of attention during the day, because the older person was like, I'm going to wait till it's time for us to have our nightly communication. Then I'll text them and then we'll have a call. Right.
Yeah.
So they're thinking about text messages as a means to a phone call.
Yep.
The other person wants to be texting throughout the day.
Yeah.
Because that's very normal for someone of that generation to like want to communicate all the time, or at least like intermittently throughout the day. So to send a text and have it left on read meant that they were being ignored.
Yeah.
Right. So you can see how quickly those miscommunications can build up because they didn't have shared expectations. And it took them sitting down and going like, here's what I'm trying to do when I'm sending you this text message. And here's what I'm expecting. And, oh, here's what I was expecting, and getting on the same page about what to do. And then they rode off into the sunset together.
Yeah.
And are living a beautiful, happy married life. But it would be very difficult to know that from the get-go because they developed in two completely different technological cultures.
Yep.
Crazy.
And I think that's why it's so important to give the person you're talking to the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Like, I know that sounds like frou-frou, but it's one of those things is like, you're already investing so much time and energy into getting to know this person.
Yeah.
It's not worth getting upset with them over something that you're not sure if you don't have the facts
Right.
to know if they were actually trying to hurt you.
Right.
So have a conversation with them, have clear communication expectations,
Mm-hmm.
and go from there.
Yeah. And so if you're a person who is like stepping back into the dating space and you're getting a lot of mixed messages, or you're interacting with people, but you're not getting clarity about what they want, you might have to own some of this weirdness and just
Yeah.
call it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, don't be afraid to say like, hey, I haven't done this in a long time and I'm not sure that I'm communicating in the most effective way, but here's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Right. I'm trying to send you a text right now because I'm hoping that we could talk more later. Right.
Yeah.
It's okay. I would rather you be a little bit awkward and be clear
Yeah.
than try to guess and navigate this really confusing terrain on your own.
Yeah. I
You know?
agree.
What tips would you give to, let's just say this is a common scenario I've run into, like an older man reaching out to a younger woman. But when I say older and younger, I'm talking about like a guy in his 40s reaching out to a woman in her early 30s, right? So not a problematic age gap, but an age gap that separates them by generation.
Don't use sarcasm over text message,
Say more about that.
because I know a lot of guys who have a witty or sarcastic sense of humor,
Like dry humor.
and don't get me wrong, I love me some dry humor in a group text or in some conversations amongst friends who understand my sense of humor.
Yeah.
But when you're, again, first impression is so important.
Yes.
And when you're coming off saying a sarcastic comment, which over a text message just sounds like you're being blatantly rude,
Mm-hmm.
in most cases, like that's an immediate turnoff that this person is not a considerate person,
Right.
you know, or whatever it may be. And so, like, I know it might be a core part of what you feel is your sense of humor. That is not the time to use it.
That's a really, really smart point, because I feel like people go to that really quickly.
Guys and girls.
Totally.
This is not just to guys, because I know girls who are also witty and hilarious and fun to talk to, and they have really good like one-liner like friendship jabs, right? But over a text message, when you're trying to meet a guy who is like looking for a companion, and she's like, "Yeah, like ugly as that shirt you wore the other day," when it's in a joking way, it could be funny and cute in person and be like, haha. But over text message, you just called what he wore the other day ugly. And now there's not the bad thing about text messaging is there's time gaps in between clarification.
Yes.
And so it's not about necessarily the fact that what you said was the worst thing in the world. It's the fact that, like, say you sent that text and then you had to work for 30 minutes. That person had 30 minutes to be frustrated or upset or offended or confused or need clarification.
Yeah.
And even if they do give you the benefit of the doubt, that's still 30 minutes. Their body is producing cortisol, like trying to defend itself.
Right.
So it's like, that's why text messaging is so hard to communicate, and try to save like that kind of humor for in person, ideally, because even over the phone, a lot of communication is about body, nonverbal communication, right? It's a lot about body gestures. It's about the way your face does stuff, the way your hands do stuff. So even over the phone, you can say something sarcastic, and if you don't really know that person yet, it could really set them off.
Yeah. I think that's a really great point. I think going back to the humor thing too, it's also important not to use GIFs, which if you don't know what a GIF is, it's like the little tiny short video clips.
It's peanut butter.
It's peanut butter. Yes.
Sorry.
It's not pronounced GIF. It's pronounced GIF.
We can't agree to disagree.
No, the creator of GIFs said it is pronounced GIF.
GIF is with a J, and it's peanut butter.
Okay. Anyway, it's like the little tiny short silent video clips that you can send via Messenger, right?
We might start a war in the comments.
Yeah. Yeah. Comment below if you feel strongly about GIFs.
GIFs.
Okay. Or emojis, right?
Yeah.
Don't use emojis or GIFs or whatever unless you know what they mean.
Yeah.
And when I say that is they might not mean, there might be a cultural meaning to them that you don't understand, right? Yeah. Like if someone asks you, what are you doing? And you say, I'm going grocery shopping, eggplant, watermelon, peaches. That means something different in the cultural view of
are you going to that Adam and Eve store?
Anyway, it's just not safe to do that, right? Unless you are aware of what
grocery shopping in the garden. Sorry.
Right. Stephen. Lord have mercy. We are falling into all kinds of dangerous traps today. Whoa. On behalf of the Synchrony Project, I apologize. Anyway.
That was pretty good. Come on.
Okay. Do not send this episode to your pastor. So like, stick to some basics, right?
Yeah.
Get a simple smiley face, a thumbs up, a thumbs down.
Yeah.
Like stick to the basics if you're communicating with pictures and texts, because it can get complicated quickly.
Yeah. And the thing is like there's so many caveats to so many different things, but being clear is like, if we have to boil it down to a couple tips.
Yeah.
Don't use sarcasm. Try not to be witty and have dry sense of humor over text message or phone call unless you already know the person. They know your sense of humor. Know the emojis you're using, but also just be clear.
Well, and
a lot of another one.
Yeah.
Don't beat around the bush around a topic. Because a lot of people like.
You mean like be passive aggressive? Or
no,
like...
what I mean is, and this goes into like, not really sarcasm, but like being unclear about what you're asking. There's sometimes a girl or a guy may want a compliment, and they are like, hey, they send leading questions.
Like burying the lead to see if the
Yeah.
other person will.
Like
Yeah.
which, don't get me wrong, in a one-on-one interaction,
Mm-hmm.
I can see that being kind of flirtatious and playful,
Sure.
right? Over text message, like it is impossible to know,
Yeah.
like what, basically like, hey, I am thinking about wearing this suit that I wore the other day. How do you feel about that? When
Right.
really you're looking for them to say, oh, I love that suit.
Right.
And then the other day I was like, oh no, the color wasn't that flattering. Like it's like the
Right.
guys are usually not completely privy to leading questions ever.
Well, and it's just too
And-
much to expect anyone to read between the lines and stuff like that.
Yeah, because guys are like problem solvers. So like, that was, if it looks good on you, do you like it? Sure, if you like it, go for it.
Right,
And the
yeah,
girl's like,
like-
just tell me I'm pretty.
Yeah, like why do you need my help getting dressed? Like just yeah.
So again, it's like these text message communication, especially if there's a big generation gap, it can be even more confusing.
Yeah.
Like if there is an obvious disconnect between your text messages, it might be might not be the person.
Right.
Like just have clear expectations and communication about your where you are at. And if you're confused about something, don't stew on it for a week and a half and be mad about it. Just have a conversation with them about it.
Right. Another place where I think messes people up with this, and you mentioned this earlier, was because this is an asynchronous form of communication, meaning that the two people are adding inputs into this conversation at different times of day, right?
Yeah.
The lag time between messages can become a significant issue.
Yeah.
Right.
I know people that would like pull their hair out over waiting
Right.
for a response from something of a question that they asked. So it was the biggest deal in the world to them.
Well, because we are asking sometimes really significant and important questions over text message.
Yeah.
Which I'm not saying that you can't do that. I'm just saying it's risky in the sense of like, if you're like, hey, I've decided that I really would like to be, your boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, and I wanted us to become official. Will you date
Which
me?
shouldn't be over text message.
I agree with you. But if you're going to do that, and then you're going to be, like just absolutely eaten up with anxiety while the person is not texting you back because they're at the dentist getting their teeth done or something, right?
Yeah.
So the asynchronous communication thing can really mess with people.
Yeah.
And again, give each other grace, because remember that if they really like you and they're really excited about your relationship, they might be reading into what you're saying a bit more than is typical.
Yeah.
Not because they're trying to be creepy, just because they're excited and they're
Yeah.
trying to gather as much data as they can about their connection to you from these little sparse sound bites or
Yeah.
messages.
And I know a lot of guys have have problems with doing really short one-word answers or like really short phrases. Your dad's a prime example of that.
Yeah.
Love you, Matt. But like it's one of those things. It's like sometimes things are read into not inappropriately isn't the right word, incorrectly.
Right.
Because someone will ask a really deep, meaningful question about their opinion about something or how they feel about something. And they're like, yeah, I think it's great.
Well,
And
Yeah.
I think it's great could be like, yeah, I think it's great.
yeah.
Or it's, yeah, I think it's great.
Right.
It's like, and again,
Tone is-
tone is everything in communication.
Right.
And so like, depending on the context of the person reading it and how excited they are about it, and they really invest in your opinion, like it can really confuse a situation. So like, I
Yeah.
think we're trying to get to a point of like, it's okay to have important conversations over text message, but have realistic expectations.
There's a point at which you should probably say, "Hey, I have something really important to talk to you about. When can we talk over a call?" Like, if it's really significant, do yourself a favor. But also just know that if you're the person receiving a message, things like opening a message and reading it but not responding right then, if it's an important thing, can come across as rude, and you might not realize that if you're not used to text-based communication, right? In
Yeah.
dating, if you open their text, it shows them a lot of times.
Yeah.
When you opened it, when it was
I
read.
had read at 6:42 and
Right.
you didn't answer for 6 hours.
Right. So
So you can't be like, oh, I didn't see it.
right. And that tells someone, oh, I saw your message, but it wasn't worth it to me to stop what I was doing and respond to it, even though you had texted me a very important question.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm
So-
honestly terrible about that personally.
Yeah.
I'll read it and go, oh, I need to put some thought into it. Let me read that later. Mark
Right.
it as unread and I'll forget for like 4 hours.
And so it's important to kind of sometimes this means that you're going to have to be really explicit by setting expectations and say, hey, I saw that message and I know it's really important to you. I need to think about that for a little bit. I'll get back to you later.
Honestly, I've been doing that a lot with the Discord.
You have to, because it's one of those things where it's like you want to acknowledge it so that they recognize that you're important to them, and you want them to like take up space in your day, but you just can't do it right then, even though they're going to notice that you've seen it. That kind of stuff never existed before, right? Yeah. Never existed before unlimited texting in 2013. Yeah. So like,
well, not only that, but like, again, going from the generational gap, like back when the only way to do text-based communication was by a letter. Yeah. Like, and I know this sounds like to the younger generation, like, wow, these people are archaic, but that wasn't that long ago.
No.
That was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
No, actually, oh God, it's 30 years ago.
Yeah. But I mean, even then, like, before that, it was like there was a period of time where I guess you could communicate via email, but kind of the same thing.
But very, very rudimentary, like, and only people who had computers. This is before everyone had computers at their disposal.
A lot of people had personal email in the late 90s, is my point.
Yeah, I know, but like, it wasn't expected that you can respond right away.
Totally.
Yeah, like it was still, you had to go home, you had to crank it up, you had to
go to your living room.
Go to your living room. Make sure no one's on the cell. Make sure no one's on the house line, so that way you can crank up your dial up. Like it was like a whole process. And then so it's like when you think about like a text message in a communication is not as heartfelt as a letter. Right. It is not. There will never be as heartfelt as a handwritten letter. Yeah. So make sure you set your expectations accordingly.
And I think it's important in your early time interacting with people online to have some clear communication about expectations, right? Yeah. Saying things like, hey, I can't text during the workday because I'm a teacher and I can't have my phone out in front of the class. Yes. So I won't be able to communicate with you during these hours. If I happen to see your message and I don't respond, don't take it personally, please. Yes. I promise I'll get back to you.
And honestly, that helped me a lot too. Like, because again, I was excited to get to know you and I was wanting to like be able to communicate with you a lot because we were long distance.
Right. This was, I guess, when I was in like grad school.
Yeah, you were in grad school. And we would have long conversations, and sometimes I would get concerned, and you're like, hey, listen, I've had back-to-back classes that I've had to TA for, and I'm not going to be able to do this and that. And that, honestly, that clarity just gave me so much peace of mind. Awesome. Yeah. Like, we'll circle back to this later.
I've heard of people saying like, hey, they're texting the person that they've been talking to, especially if you've set a precedent, right? Like if you've been texting them every day, but you're about to go on a missions trip or you're about to go travel to see family and you're going to be really busy. Yeah. Saying, hey, I know we've been communicating a lot. My schedule is about to change. That's becoming more of a courteous expectation, right? It might seem like, if you've never done this before, it might seem like something annoying or extra or going out of your way, but that's becoming the expectation of how to be courteous in a dating interaction. Yeah. Let them know very clearly when they can expect you to be responsive to them.
Yeah. I am going to bring something out of this conversation in which this clear communication can solve a lot of problems. Someone who in a previous relationship experienced being cheated on or infidelity. Yeah. And so there is a little bit of insecurity or previous hurt with someone walking out on them, whether in a dating or marriage relationship. So the silence, especially this is specifically more for long distance. There's an insecurity and a doubt that comes into mind. Like, I trusted someone before. Right. Because I wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt and they broke that trust. I can see that being hard to apply to a new relationship, especially long distance. Right. And one, communicate with the person that you're talking to, like, hey, this is my experience and this is why I might sound a little hovery sometimes, is because I'm coming from a place of fear and I'm trying to work on it. But two, you being able to say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to be able to respond for the next couple hours for this reason. Yeah. It gives a lot of peace of mind to the person who has experienced that before. Right. So, but I do not want to give permission to the people who have the experience of being cheated on the excuse to be a helicopter individual and use that as an excuse to be possessive.
There's a slippery slope here. Yeah. And we've seen it with people. We've coached people on it where like they'll get so invested in the communication, and because there are not normal, like natural boundaries to texting in the sense
Yeah.
of like, when you're communicating face to face, eventually everyone had to go home, right?
Yeah.
With texting, you can communicate all the time, and people can become really fixated on the frequency of texting and the pace of texting and the speed of texting. That can very quickly exhaust a relationship and burn
Yes.
people out.
Yeah.
So I think it's also important to set some boundaries for yourself.
Yeah.
And if the last time you dated was in the 80s or the 90s, this might sound like we're trying to like parent you like teenagers, and that's not what we're trying to do.
No.
Right. But this is stuff that you might not have ever had to really think about intentionally, that you need to start thinking about. You need to set yourself a time where you stop responding to messages.
Yeah.
And it probably needs to be earlier than you'd like, right?
Yeah. One thing that I think we did was after 10 o'clock was like usually around the time
Right.
that we stopped talking on the phone, FaceTiming or texting, because it usually wouldn't lead to anything good.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, we're talking about the later in the night you get, the more tired you get, the more your defenses go down, and the more you're susceptible to sexting, sending inappropriate photos, or talking about inappropriate things. If you're on FaceTime and obviously you're really attracted to the person you're talking to, and like your guard goes down of how you're sitting, and there's inappropriate things. So basically, like it's natural to want to get to know that person more. But when
Right.
we're talking about an apostolic relationship, there has to be boundaries in order for you to maintain a level of holiness in your relationship.
Yeah. And that might not be something that you had to think hard about when you were dating a long time ago, but you need to think really hard about it now. Right.
Yeah, because I mean, back in the day, like being holy in a relationship was literally like choosing not to force yourself on someone.
Yeah. Or like not to physically be alone.
Yeah,
right?
not be alone with them, or like not kiss them without their permission, or
Right.
whatever. But now it can so easily like fall in, and we're not even talking about pornography. This is a whole
Right.
different conversation.
Yeah, you should treat whatever messaging platform you're using with someone like a room in their house.
Yes.
And there is a time of night where it is better for both of you to leave that room and
Yep.
not be in it together.
Yep.
Because the same challenges can apply, right?
Yep.
So set yourself a curfew where at this
Yeah.
time of night I stop messaging people, I put my phone on do not disturb, or I silence my messaging, and I retreat out of these spaces, right?
Yeah.
And communicate with them about that.
Yeah, don't do it without expressing this, because one, it could be received as like you being withdrawn. Like, why
Right.
are you withdrawing from me? No, you're actually trying to protect each other,
Right.
which is beautiful. But if you're not communicating, it could be received as rejection.
Totally. And so, giving yourself that kind of curfew, agreeing that you're not going to send certain types of jokes or certain types
Yeah.
of material or whatever.
Yeah.
And just understanding too, like eliciting that information from them, because you might have done all the thinking about what's going to be most convenient for you, but you haven't asked them, well, when do your kids go to bed, right?
Yeah.
When is the best time for you to text or for you to call? Sometimes people's schedules are really incompatible because of work schedules or parenting schedules or whatever. Be sensitive to those things and proactively find out, like, hey, I really want to keep communicating. Like, this is also a great way to demonstrate your interest, right? I really want to keep communicating with you. What is the best time for us to do this? So I can make some plans and make sure I leave some space for this, right?
Yeah.
Like, let them know that you want them to take up space in your day.
Yeah.
But I think it is really important for people to hear that just because you can continuously communicate with a dating prospect doesn't mean you should.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times people get really, they fail to develop that chemistry of feeling seen, safe, and curious with each other because they communicate constantly for a few days, right? It's like super intense, just constant flow of communication.
It becomes a level of saturation.
Right.
Yeah.
And when they burn out on all the kind of like surface level topics
Yep.
that they've talked about, there's nothing left for them to talk about, and they kind of like just
Start
fizzle
wan-
out.
and you start wandering into conversations that
You shouldn't have.
You shouldn't.
Right.
And honestly, we even ran into that at some point. Like we had conversations where like we had reached, because long distance, the way you talk and the way you hang out with each other is by texting and talking.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are seasons where we talked too much.
Right.
And we ran into stuff where we couldn't talk about anymore. And we're like, oh, well, is the relationship dying? Like, is stuff going on? Well,
Right.
no, take a break. Give each other space to be able to develop experiences that you can talk about later. Right. It's okay to not constantly be texting each other. Doesn't mean your relationship is dying.
Right. So the takeaways here is that if you are coming back into dating and the last time you dated was years ago, even, goodness, even like 10 or 12 years ago, right? Yeah. The landscape is so dramatically different. It is absolutely okay for you to feel kind of like a fish out of water. That's very normal. And the way to power through that is to communicate your intentions really clearly, communicate your availability really clearly to potential dating partners, admit when you're not sure about what something is or why, point out things that you're confused about, be open with them about that, right?
Yeah.
And then, be clear about what you want, right? Like, hey, I would love for you to call me so that we can talk because I'd like to hear your voice, right? Versus just please call me, period.
Yeah.
Papa.
Gator American flag.
Gator American flag. Anything else about this that we should call out in terms? We've spent a lot of time talking about technology and dating, and I want to recognize that that's not the only challenging thing about getting back into dating, but I think it is one of the biggest hurdles because technology intermediating our dating is an expectation now.
Yeah. We've had people reach out to us and say, listen, I have no idea what this person is saying. Like, I'm not used to communicating this much over text message.
Right.
And so, I think this is why this came to fruition.
Yeah. So, but I think there are other things that we could talk about in a different episode about just like the mental and emotional challenges of dating again. If the last time you dated was when you were 21 and now you're dating again when you're 50.
Yeah.
There's just challenges to that in general. You're in a very different time of your life. So we could talk about that at a different time, but I think the technological barriers and confusion and availability is maybe the biggest hurdle that people face when they're coming back into the dating space.
Yeah. And I think if you have any questions about your circumstance, like around what you're doing or what you're experiencing, you're not really sure and you want an unbiased person's perspective, feel free to reach out to us and tell us and ask us questions, because we'll be happy to let you know, like, hey, yeah, you reading that situation, right? Or, hey, actually, you know what? That person actually might be trying to flirt with you when really they sound angry.
Or we'll just agree that we have no idea what they are saying.
Yeah, or if we don't have context, we might not have the
sometimes
answer.
Sometimes we're like, yeah, you're right, man. That was a weird GIF to send. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to interpret that either, my friend.
Yeah.
Anything else on this?
One last thing. Don't have monumental relationship conversations over text message.
Yeah, this should be a given, but it isn't for a lot of people.
Don't ask them to be your girlfriend, boyfriend, engaged, get married over text message, please.
Oh, can you imagine?
I know it's happened. It's happened.
The engagement one.
No, I know. I've heard of one happening, and it was like, you got to be kidding me.
Gross.
And also, this is a big one, is to help protect themselves from getting hurt and actually hearing the person's voice of disappointment, but people breaking up over text messaging.
Yeah, or just letting people down, right?
Yeah, like stop.
If you have only ever communicated with that person over text-based communication, like you've just been talking and you've never actually heard each other's voices, sure.
Yeah, that's maybe the only reason.
But if you have had a phone call or a FaceTime call with them and you've been talking in an extended way, or you've been dating, you need to talk to them in some place where they can hear the tone of your voice to have that kind of conversation.
Yeah. And also just because we're talking to people who aren't used to this, something is called ghosting is when, not the holy ghosting,
the unholy ghosting.
The unholy ghosting, no, is when someone chooses to say, you know what, if I don't respond, I don't have to let them down, or I don't have to tell them I don't like them, or I don't have to answer that question that's uncomfortable.
I just thought of the greatest t-shirt.
What?
Can you imagine a t-shirt that has a ghost looking at their phone and seeing a message pop up and opening it and leaving it on red and it just having unholy ghost under it? I think that would be great.
You should make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's called ghosting, and it's just rude and inconsiderate.
Yeah.
And have enough decency to say, hey, I've enjoyed the conversations prior, but I don't want to continue going forward. Nothing personal. I
Right.
just don't think that this is going to be a good fit.
Remember too that things that you send in direct messages are not necessarily private.
No, they're saved records.
Right. Well,
You can delete them all you want. That doesn't mean the other person's deleting them.
right.
Either.
You deleting the messages doesn't make them go away for them. And people are frequently taking screenshots, sharing them with other people in the same groups.
Yeah.
So if you send the same templated message to every single person of the opposite gender in the Facebook group that you're in,
Yeah.
they will know that.
Yeah.
Like they will start talking about that. If you start ghosting tons of people in the same Facebook group, you are burning bridges.
Yeah. And it will spread.
It will spread. So your reputation is going to be perpetuated by what you do in those closed or private messages. So you need to be thinking about that and continuing to demonstrate the fruits of the Spirit and treat the other person as a brother and sister in Christ when you're in those spaces.
Yeah.
Should be a given, but it's worth
Even if they're
saying.
rude and jerks,
Mm-hmm.
like doesn't mean it doesn't give you permission to be rude and a jerk.
God bless you. Hope everything goes well. Have a great day.
Yep.
Right. Okay. I feel like we could pick at this for forever. If you have more questions, leave them in the comments. We'd love to respond to them there. Any specific examples, we're happy to chat about.
Yep. Hey, quick interjection here.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all have been watching us on YouTube, please subscribe because it will really help us be able to reach more people.
Yeah. That helps the algorithm quite a bit.
It will. And we don't care about the money side of it. We just want to be able to get this to more people.
We do not make any money off of the podcast.
Yeah.
The
Not
podcast.
Yet. Not yet, at least.
The podcast sponsored by no one.
Yeah, sponsored by ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, but please, I know there's a lot of people who listen, and I also know that there's a lot of people who aren't subscribed. So that would really help us out.
Yeah, for sure. Or if you're listening on like a podcast platform, like dropping us a review is really helpful.
Yeah.
Like take a minute if you've been listening for a while to engage with some place on our platform. It really does help because we want every apostolic to have the opportunity to weigh in on these conversations.
Yeah.
So just a reminder, if you have signed up to go on the cruise, Singles at Sea, leaving in February, our payment deadline's coming up. So that means that your full payment's going to be due in the next little bit. You should see an email from Chelsea reminding you about that in your email inbox. We'll be sending out more information shortly about plans for the trip and what we've got going on and what we're talking about doing. But in the meantime, definitely reach out to Chelsea. Her information's in the description if you have questions about that or if you're not sure what you need to pay. If you are hearing about the cruise for the first time and you want to go, you can still go. It doesn't mean you'll have to pay the cruise cost up front if you pay after that deadline. But there is still room on the boat. So as long as there's room on the boat, you are welcome to join us and we would love to have you. Reach out to Chelsea. The information is below to get involved.
Yep.
Any other announcements?
No, other than men, single, married, joining the Discord.
Mm-hmm.
That the link will be in the description.
Yep. Love to have you there.
Yep.
We had a question on one of our other YouTube videos about whether or not we plan to do a Discord for women.
Yeah.
And I was talking to some of our female clients lately, and we talked about needing to bring back the sewing circle.
Yeah.
Like the idea that women used to hang out doing like communal, stereotypically female tasks, right? Like the quilting circle or the sewing circle or whatever.
The book clubs.
Well, yeah, just like things that women would get, like women's tasks that they would gather and do as a group, right?
Yeah.
I'm about this. Like my grandma self would love to sit in a circle and crochet with people. So there might be a world in which in the future we do try to organize something like that. It probably will need to be when I've got a little more time and space in my schedule. But I would love to facilitate something like that. So
Yeah.
if you
Maybe
are
something you can do if you are able to come home an extra day a week.
yeah, we're praying about that.
Yeah.
Help us think about that. But anyway, if you would be interested in sitting around in a virtual circle in an online space like Discord and crafting or chilling or drinking coffee and laughing with the girls, let us know. That'd be fun.
That would be awesome.
Hey,
Hey,
I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you for powering through this, even though you're very sleepy.
I'm very sleepy.
Yeah, we're going to sleep well tonight.
Yep.
Unless our kids wake us up at 2 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah. Nope, they're going to sleep through the night.
In Jesus' name. All right. You guys have a great week.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.